Are you sure you're good?
I'm good.
Promise?
I'm good.
This is going to be a good show?
Yep. All right, beginning of the show, we always do the quick news very quickly. Cam asked me a question. I have a question. We each have 10 seconds to answer, and then we get right into our show. Cameron.
All right. Paul George, the Indiana Pacer. For how much longer, though?
He's going to be done after this year. They just got swept by Cleveland 4-0. I'm a Pistons fan, and I do not want Paul George coming here. He's not a team leader. He's a great player. Reminds me of Carmelo Anthony. Great player, but never going to win a championship.
I agree. He's never going to win a championship, but I would like to see him here just for a little bit to maybe help out the younger talent.
What an answer. Have him here to not win a championship for us.
To help out the younger talent.
Have him here to not win a championship for us. What a great answer.
Help win a championship.
Then what's the point of bringing him here if he's not going to win a championship?
Because he's going to teach the younger kids how to play the game better.
That's
these
stupid.
These younger players
no,
don't
that's
really
stupid.
know how to
you
play
want
as well
a basketball
as
player who's going to help you win a championship.
Just because he's not going to help us win a championship doesn't mean he's going to set up.
So that's a waste of time.
It's a 2-year, let's see how it goes maybe.
That was stupid.
What's your question, Big Shot?
My question is, this year the MVP will be announced after the postseason, which it looks like the two top contenders, is James Harden and Russell Westbrook. Like it or not?
I don't like that it's going to be after the playoffs because it's a regular season thing. They should do it in between the regular season and the playoffs.
I like it. I like that it adds the postseason, and quite frankly, I like it because it's showing more effect of what these players have. For example, Russell Westbrook will be this year's MVP because he keeps putting out triple-doubles in the playoffs. He's become a good team leader, and frankly, we haven't realized how big Houston's effect has dropped of James Harden until this playoffs. Nene, Patrick Beverley, all guys doing well. Russell Westbrook will win it because it's been in the playoffs. I like it.
Welcome to the Cam Jam Experience, everybody. This is Cameron Gwinn talking at you. I got Jimmy Paxson by my side. He's going to give you a quick rundown on what we got today.
Actually, the rundown consists of me just saying the Chicago Blackhawks lost as many times as possible. That's one. Count real quick for me. The Chicago Blackhawks lost in the playoffs. We're going to be talking about the NHL playoffs, which the Chicago Blackhawks lost in. And then after the NHL playoffs where Chicago lost, is going to be Kicking It with Cam. And then it's going to go into the NFL draft. Full Lions discussion, full draft preview. Jimmy Paxson will tell you basically what will happen in the draft or what the Lions should do since new GM Bob Quinn will get this team back on track, in my opinion. And back on track meaning on track because we've never been on track in 70 years. But anyway, the Chicago Blackhawks lost in the NHL playoffs. Actually, they were swept in the NHL playoffs by the Nashville Predators. Actually, hold on. They were swept in the playoffs by the Nashville Predators when they were the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. Chicago lost. They were swept 4-0. Cam, go on to the rest of the NHL playoffs. By the way, Chicago lost.
So does it only count when you say Chicago lost, or does it count when you say they got swept?
In any sort of fashion.
Any sort of fashion. So you're already at 9 because
Okay.
the Chicago Blackhawks lost, as you said, in the first round of the NHL playoffs, which have come to a close. We are getting ready for the second round. The Predators have beaten the Chicago Blackhawks 4-0. Nice clean sweep. You just look so happy right now.
Because there are 3 teams in this world that I hope lose every single game because I hate them. The Chicago Blackhawks, the Louisville Cardinals, any college football, basketball, it doesn't matter. The point is, as a Kentucky Wildcat fan, you have to hate Louisville.
Yes.
So you hate Louisville and you hate the Blackhawks. And more importantly, I can't stand the Cleveland Indians. My sports ego always wants me to tell them they'd lose. But when I talk about journalism and the national of what's going to happen, I do think the Indians are going to win this year. But more importantly, I hope they lose every single game. Chicago is one of those 3 teams. And since they lost number 10, they got swept because they came out a couple years ago as, oh, we're the new hockey town, or, oh, everyone should love Chicago, and Chicago. God, I hate these guys, Cam.
It's because they had that talent that all came together
Oh,
and
yeah,
figured
that
it
talent's
out.
showing since you just
then-
got swept by some country boys in Nashville.
Yeah, well, I mean, they work hard, dude. They're not city slickers. That's one thing about the Preds that nobody's ever going to top is the Preds will work their asses off against you no matter who they are.
I love Nashville.
We've seen it so many times against the Wings.
You want to know what I want to start off with talking about Nashville?
What's up?
Pekka Rinne.
Oh, Pekka Rinne, dude. Oh,
he only allowed 3
God.
goals in 4 games.
Against the Blackhawks.
His save percentage was .976.
Against the Blackhawks.
257 minutes, Cam.
Against the Blackhawks.
Oh, my God. A clean sweep. Best goalie in the playoffs right now is the Nashville Predators.
After the first round, it's got to be. And the dude plays with guts, man. He comes out of the blue line, or not out of the blue line, out of his zone a lot to get pucks. So St. Louis also had a 4-1 win over Minnesota. Not really much to say there. St. Louis just played clean. Minnesota didn't have it.
Minnesota didn't have that high-octane offense they usually have, and they have throughout the whole season. They lost in overtime in that last game, which was Game 5, which let St. Louis beat them. I was watching that overtime just thinking, Minnesota's not as fast and not as offensive-friendly right now. They played a lot of scared defense.
Yeah.
And when it comes to the playoffs, you can't really do that. In the regular season, makes sense. You got to shoot out after the playoffs.
I may be wrong, but it seems kind of like how Michigan played in their last March Madness game. They were trying to get back on defense before setting up their offense.
In a similarity, yes.
Yeah.
In any sport you play, with the exception of baseball, when it comes to football, basketball, and hockey, you can always side more to defense or offense. It's playoff time. It's overtime. Score the goal, win. That's where Minnesota went wrong.
Exactly. So then on the other side, we got Anaheim. Had a clean sweep against the Flames. I mean, Anaheim, dude, they're just a consistent team that comes in, and they usually get past the first round, or they make it very difficult. I think last week you were
talking about Anaheim a lot.
Anaheim's a good team.
Done.
I do like what they've done. They got a solid team. They all work very, very together, and that's another one of those teams that's just going to outwork you.
Yes.
That's one thing about Anaheim that makes them a great team. And then San Jose didn't have much luck against Edmonton in the Oilers. Oilers move on with a 4-2 series win. And then the Canadiens lost to the Rangers with a 4-2 series loss. Ottawa, which is a team that I didn't really think could have done anything against the Bruins, but they won 4-2 and are moving on to play the Rangers. That's another big one, in my opinion. And I don't know if it was just how bad Chicago played that's making it seem like it's not as bad that the Bruins lost. But, geez. The Bruins are just one of those playoff teams that just didn't make it this year. And then Washington with a 4-2 series win over Toronto. And this is what I want to say real quick. The Chicago Blackhawks, like I said, with that talent and everything, when they first...
Who lost 4-0 in the first round, by the way.
Thank you, 11. So when Chicago first established that they got this young talent that's going to work together, and they started working really, really good together and everything like that, the Maple Leafs are that next team.
You think in years coming, Toronto will be that team?
I think they will.
I agree 100%.
I think they will.
Toronto played an unbelievable series against Washington.
Yeah.
Yes, they lost in 6, but if
still,
you watch that series, it was close. There were a couple overtime games. But I do believe in years coming, Babcock will get that Toronto team where they will be to a Stanley Cup.
Yes.
I do think so in a couple years.
Totally agree.
More importantly right now, we have a bracket in front of us that we're going to talk about right now because, oh my God, this is going to be so much fun to watch. This is going to be insane. These NHL playoffs are going to be amazing. 4 amazing matchups right now. Cameron, I'm going to take care of this real quick. Nashville will beat St. Louis in a 5 or 6 game series.
Yes.
I mean, come on. Pekka Rinne. Oh my God. Just saying his name makes me think amazing goalie. They have a couple of wingers that can score, that can pass. Nashville will get past St. Louis, no problem. So Nashville will go on. Anaheim, Edmonton. Are you really going to ask me this right now? Connor McFrickin-David, Cameron.
The man, the
Edmonton
myth,
will beat Anaheim
legend.
in 6 or 7 games. No problem about that.
Oh, he's so good.
I have an Edmonton stat for you. Are you ready?
Let me hear it.
Lionel Draisaitl. I probably said his name wrong. But he's a center for Edmonton. He is +4 right now.
That's awesome.
He's 3 points in the playoffs.
That's how you want to be.
2 assists and 1 goal. And just a couple of these Edmonton guys are unbelievable when it comes to that. We got +2, +4, +2, +3, +1, +1, +1. These guys work together so well. I love it.
Dude,
Edmonton.
Connor McDavid is he's just such a polarizing player. He's so fast when he gets on the puck. He's got puck skill like no other. He can pass extremely well, and he's got a lethal, just deadly shot. The goal, like half the time, I'm pretty sure goalies don't even realize that they're actually making the save because his shots are so deadly accurate.
God, Connor McDavid's amazing.
He's so good.
In the Western Conference Finals this year, it will be Nashville and Edmonton. Go ahead and dispute it.
Dude, I'm not going to dispute that at all. That's
you
correct in my opinion.
You
Dude,
were so
I love Anaheim.
Ducks.
I love Anaheim
Get
and all.
Ducks.
Dude, I love Anaheim and all, but you can't get past Connor McDavid with just work. You can't. Connor McDavid is way too good for somebody to just work harder than him because he's one of those players that also works his ass off night in and night out. Connor McDavid is going to push Edmonton to the final.
I'm sorry.
That's what I'm thinking.
Edmonton will beat Nashville and go to the Stanley Cup.
That's what I'm saying, to the Stanley Cup Finals.
No.
No? Okay.
No.
Okay, why not?
Opinion, no. Nashville.
Yeah, why not?
Rene.
Okay.
The great wingers. I just said it 5 minutes ago.
I understand you did, but Connor McDavid setting up every play.
How about it's debatable. I'm not saying it's completely out of the question. That's going to be a fun series. I hope Edmonton and Nashville go on to the finals.
That series right there, in my opinion, would be more fun than the Caps and the Rangers on the other side.
And that's who you're picking?
Yep.
Well, that's who I was going to pick too. But more importantly, I was going to say the team who wins out of Pittsburgh and Washington will win the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
No question about it.
It's got to be.
I pick Washington. They're going to break that streak. Alex Ovechkin's going to do what he's supposed to do.
I think more people want Ovi to win than anything else for this Stanley Cup playoffs because Ovi hasn't won his championship.
Well, yes. He's kind of one of those guys who needs to win it to become great. But anyway, just real quickly, the Rangers will beat the Senators based on offense, I think, in 5 or 6 games. That Washington-Pittsburgh, that's going 7.
That's got to go 7.
No
and if it
doesn't,
every game or every other game will go to overtime.
Something
and
like
all
that.
all the games are only going to be decided by 1 goal.
Okay, so we got Nashville, Edmonton. I've already said Nashville. You've already said Edmonton.
Yes, sir.
New York Rangers,
yes,
Washington
sir.
Capitals. I'm picking the Caps.
I'm picking the Caps.
Okay, then I have Washington, Nashville. You have Washington, Edmonton. Tell me something that Edmonton could do to be Stanley Cup champions this year, and then I'll go to Nashville real quick.
I mean, really it all falls on Connor McDavid, but I think he's going to have enough to be able to do it, but I think the Caps are going to figure it out, and they're going to be able to shut him down. Really
quickly, though, you said it's McDavid. No, Edmonton can hit hard.
Yeah.
This team is a bunch of scrappers. So if they find a way to just pummel Washington every single chance they get and keep them down on the goals, like 2 a game, they have a chance. They do.
They do have a chance, but like when you look at it, there's one team that I would kind of compare to the same play style as Edmonton, and it's Toronto.
Yes.
They're both young teams who are scrappy.
They're practically the same exact.
They have major heart. Like Austin Matthews on Toronto, he's the McDavid.
That's correct.
The Capitals figured them out, and I think that they're going to figure out the Oilers too.
That is correct. More importantly, though, Edmonton won't get past Nashville. So
why though?
Oh, dude, Pekka Rinne and that defense.
But I think there's another reason as to why the Nashville Preds are going to keep going.
Go on.
I want you to say it.
I don't know if we're.
You don't know where?
The same reason.
Oh, we're not going the same reason. Is it because they got swept? Or
that's right.
Yeah.
Nashville already beat Chicago because they got swept 4-0.
There we go. Thank you.
They lost and got swept and lost and got swept and lost.
And got swept and lost.
All right, that's right. Chicago did lose, and that's another great reason. Not my reason, though. I was going to talk about these Nashville Predator defenders.
Yeah? Talk to me.
Oh, my God. Yannick Weber, Matt Irwin, 2 defenders. +2 for Weber, +3 for Irwin. That's good. That's good.
That is good.
Really good. We got Yassi Roman, another defender. And, of course, PK Subban.
Oh, Subban, dude. That was such a good ad. That was such a good ad.
Best trade in NHL history.
I was going to say the season for sure.
Shea Weber goes to Montreal. And Subban, am I saying his name wrong?
No, you're saying it right, Subban.
PK Subban comes to Nashville. Best trade. Because, Montreal lost in the first round.
That's a good fit for Subban.
Shea Weber's going to do great in Montreal. Amazing trade. But Nashville will make it to the finals, and the one way they can beat Washington is because of defense and their goalie. Kind of same with Edmonton. You got to keep this goals down. More importantly, though, I think the Caps will win in the Stanley Cup. If Pittsburgh beats Washington, I think Pittsburgh's winning the Stanley Cup. It's as simple as that. It's interchangeable to me.
It's got to be. That's the key right there. That series is the key between Pittsburgh and Washington. We will definitely be looking heavy into that. But I'm going to go kick it real quick. We got a lot going on in not baseball. Jeez. I want to talk about baseball later. Is that okay with you? Can we talk about baseball? Cool.
There ain't nothing to talk about. Our team is full of
I was just talking.
rejects.
Let's talk
and
about the
old
big.
people
Let's
who can't
okay.
pitch, and baseball players who don't know how to play baseball. And this is Detroit.
It's okay.
Thank you, Detroit, for giving us a bullpen who won't pitch a good game.
I had to turn off his mic for a second. All right, we're gonna be kicking it with me. Some soccer around the world. So I know last week I mentioned that there was this thing called a derby when two soccer heavyweights go against each other, and there was one this weekend. Yay! A big one, actually. It's called El Clásico, and oh boy, was it a classic. It was a 3-2 win by Barca, and Messi came out strong after getting hit in the face hard at the beginning. His mouth was bleeding. He had gauze in his mouth for most of the game. He ended up scoring 2 goals, though. I mean, that's pretty good in the 33rd minute, and then to put Barcelona up 3-2 in the 2nd minute of stoppage time. I mean, the reason why Barcelona won in the long run wasn't just because of Messi, though. Real kind of shot themselves in the foot. Bale got hurt, his calf, in the 39th minute. And then Sergio Ramos with a red card where he tackled Messi, which is a harsh red, probably should have been yellow. But right after that, James Rodriguez, who is kind of on the hot seat in Real, is almost going to get shipped out soon to whoever will take him. Honestly, I would take him. He's a great player. But in the 85th minute, he scored right after Ramos had gotten the red card and came off to make it 2-2. But Messi just too much, and that was a classic for the El Clásico. And then the MLS, it's kind of the home of retired European players. You got David Villa, you got Drogba, you got Pirlo, just so many different names. But one player wants to be in the MLS that they're thinking about saying no. No team has said that they are interested in this man, John Terry, defender from Chelsea. The dude's unreal. He works, it's crazy work ethic. He can teach these younger kids what to do to prepare for all these big games. I don't know why you wouldn't want him on your MLS team if you're anybody in the MLS at all. Makes no sense to me. But we got big news in the States also. Let's talk about the NFL draft.
He was there. He's like, we got big news in the States. No, I'm done.
Let's talk about the NFL draft.
It's okay. He ended it.
No, that's the big news in the States. We're talking about football, right?
Please cue my NFL song, Cam, so I can get started. Louder. Louder. Just a little bit more. What? Thank you.
I got to fade out, dude. It's got to be a fade, you know?
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Anyway, NFL draft is this Thursday. First round, 8 o'clock at night. Big first round. Cameron, we're going to do this the best way we know how. And that is saying who we love and saying who we trash. This is how we're going to do this. I'm going to tell you who the Lions will get in the first round. I'm going to tell you the position players the Lions need to get. And I'm going to tell you who the Lions should not get in the first round or the position players they should not get at all in this draft.
Can I tell you who they shouldn't get right now?
No.
Real quick before you ask me this later?
I haven't asked.
Well, can I just say it right now?
Stop it.
Can I just? Okay.
Okay, then we're going to go to the surprise pick. This one guy you and I are both going to circle who's going to be way up there. For example, he's supposed to be a late first rounder. He's going to get picked in the top 10. Then we're going to go to a disappointment. Some guy who's supposed to be picked but isn't going to be picked for a while. Kind of like a Brady Quinn situation where they're like, oh, he's going to get picked. And then he didn't get picked till the 3rd day. That was really sad for him. But he wasn't a good quarterback anyway.
They kept showing him next to the phone.
They kept
waiting
showing
for the
him.
phone call.
They're like, they're going to call soon. Don't worry.
I mean, how pissed would you be, though, if you're getting so highly talked about and then not picked until the 3rd round?
Like,
Dude, I'd rather be around my family anyway, but let's not get into that. Let's just talk about the actual athletes that are going to be picked. And then final thing
we're going to talk about, quarterbacks. The two big quarterbacks, where are they heading? And then we're going to end NFL draft because we've talked the heck out of NFL draft.
Yeah, we have. I mean, but next week we'll talk about why it was a terrible pick that somebody picked this person over this person. We'll do that.
Most likely who the Lions choose wrong.
They will choose somebody wrong. It's almost a guarantee, right?
This is why I'm doing this right now, Cam. It's very simple. First round, the Lions will pick because he will fall based on a little bit of injury that he had and based on people saying we don't think he's going to be that great of a player. This is who the Lions will pick in the first round. His name is Taco Charlton.
Oh.
Sounds a little familiar, don't you think?
Taco, yes.
Sounds a little familiar.
Yes.
Because he played for the University of Michigan.
Woo.
He is a defensive end from the University of Michigan. Let me give you some Taco Charlton stats. Oh, wait.
Let's
he's
taco
awesome.
about it.
He's awesome.
He is awesome.
2016, 30 tackles, 8.5 for a loss, 5.5 sacks. He was in all Big Ten honors.
Woo.
Cameron, this guy is unbelievable. He did get hurt earlier in the year.
That's okay.
But that's the only thing that's going to hold him back. He's projected to go 16 right now in Todd McShay's big board draft. But I think he's going to draft to 21 with the Lions, and I think he'd be a perfect defensive end for the Lions to get because, as I said last week, we need to go D-line. We have to go D-line.
I think that's the best spot to start looking. And that's a good player to start with. If he does fall, yes, that would be awesome. But I'm not 100% sold that he will fall.
Okay. Who will the Lions draft first this year, Cameron Gwinn?
I can tell you it's not going to be Jabril Peppers. I can tell you that. I like where you're going with Taco Charlton, and if he does fall, please get Taco. He's going to be one of those players that's going to work like crazy. I agree with you in that regard. But linebacker, who's I can't remember his name, and this is atrocious right now. I am very, very sorry. Everybody has him projected to go to the Lions, and I think that's a good fit.
What are you talking about? Everyone has him projected to go to the Lions.
A lot of people have this man. Oh, my goodness. This is so bad.
I'm just going to keep letting you
I know you are.
Because I have linebackers.
And I can't look it up in front of me because we're recording onto my laptop, and for some reason you can't look up stuff.
You want to take a guess?
Do your boy a favor.
Do you want to
Do
take
him
a
a
guess?
solid.
Would you like to take a guess or no?
No, I would not like to take a guess because I'm going to butcher it atrociously.
Okay. Well, then I think you're talking about Reuben Foster. Reuben Foster right now on Todd McShay's board is projected to go number 10. So I don't know where you're saying he may go to the Lions, but he has talked about dropping, so I think that is the guy we were talking about.
Yes.
He's projected to go number 10 right now, and that means he would be with the Buffalo Bills.
Yes. Which would be a good pickup for the Bills because, they need help almost everywhere. But
so your pick is Reuben Foster.
Yeah, Reuben Foster.
My pick is Taco Charlton.
And you know what's funny? I was thinking about a Reuben sandwich too, but I couldn't put the name together because that's what I think about every time I hear his name. Just like tacos every time we talk about Taco Charlton.
Okay. And then next, I have the 4 positions the Lions will draft this year. They will have to draft somebody by defensive line. You're going to get that out of the way with Taco Charlton. You're going to have to draft 2 secondary members, either a corner or a safety. You have to. It's a must this year. Slay can't do it by himself.
No.
And these guys that we have playing secondary aren't going to do it. Get one of those SEC secondaries that Cameron likes so much. LSU,
I love them.
Alabama, Tennessee, anyone from the SEC who plays secondary is most likely going to be a good player.
That's where you got to go.
2 to 3 secondary members. Also, get a linebacker. Get a second round, third round linebacker. These guys who are big, they're not very fast, but they can get the tackles, they can fill the gaps, they can stop the run, and we cannot stop the run the past couple of years. So we need to get someone who's going to stop the run. And then finally, get a wide receiver or a running back, or more importantly at the running back, someone you can throw the ball to. Okay, like Alvin Kamara in the second round, as I wanted us to draft him in the first round, but then I kind of shifted towards defense needs to be number 1 this year. It does. Anyway, you got to get a good receiver. You have to get a good receiver. Someone who's going to help Golden Tate and Marvin Jones, because I think Marvin Jones is going to be a big help.
I think he's going to be a breakout.
He's going to be a lot better. Get someone to help Jones and Golden Tate. More importantly, get one of those tall guys. These short receivers, they're great, but we have too many of them right now. Get a tall receiver.
Every team needs to have at least one tall receiver. They have to. So my 4 positions that I think we need to look at, obviously this year, this is a very, very defensive-heavy draft. So this is going to be the year where the Lions can beef up this defense. So I agree with you. I'd rather go secondary first, though. I would rather go secondary first. I've been preaching that. I've been nonstop saying this for who knows how long now.
But you disagree that the Lions will do that since you said they'll pick Foster a linebacker.
Yeah, I think that they will probably go with a linebacker because that's what the Lions do. We've seen it year in and year out. They like to have a good linebacker.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. So I think they're going to go secondary. I think they should go secondary first, but they'll probably go linebacker first, which I'm totally fine with. You can flip-flop those whatever way you want. I agree with you. I think they do need a running back. I think having a good running back who could catch just quick short routes maybe, that'd be a very good fit. And then I think I'd say, yeah, two secondaries. We'll take a very late round secondary that maybe you can beef up and become more football intelligent. Somebody that's athletic but isn't quite football intelligent. I think that would be a good fit because you can learn the game of football if you're athletic.
That's fair. That's fair. Couldn't disagree with you at all. It's going to be hard, but it's this offseason feels different for me. And I say that because of being a diehard Lions fan or a diehard loser.
He's wearing the Lions hat right now.
I am wearing a Lions hat right now. But more importantly, it feels different because we have a chance. We could do something. We could.
But will we?
I think we will. I like the pickups. We got some offensive linemen who will help, and we're almost there. So I hope we get some guys who will really, really help this team out. And, more on the Lions, just real quickly. I think the one thing we have to do is we have to get players who will last, not breakout stars right away.
Right. That's why I think
this is hard. That's why we talk about the draft so much.
That's why I was saying draft an athlete who can develop.
Yes.
Because that's what the Lions need. They like to go for people that are just going to break out and just be superstar studs right away and then start to flounder after they get past 5 years. That's how the Lions pick some of their guys. But we don't know. We have yet to see. But here's a question I got to ask you. If Gwinn picks the right players and we have a decent season next year and our offense stays good with Jim Bob Cooter, can we say that the Bobs took over and led us to the promised land?
You're saying the two people that led us to the playoffs are Jim Bob Cooter and Bob Gwinn. Those are the two reasons?
I think they would be two of the heavier reasons.
They would be the two reasons. I'm agreeing with you. I was just making it clear.
The Bob duo.
Sure. I mean, I think Jim Bob Cooter has an amazing offensive style, but more importantly than that, he has chemistry to work with Matt Stafford.
I think they've tailored a good offense.
Nobody has had beforehand, so I agree with that.
I think, dude, just the way they meshed together was perfect. Jim Bob Cooter was able to tailor a good offense for Matt Stafford to thrive in, and that's just what the Lions have become.
Well, yeah, that is, I mean, you could say that. It's hard. Well, I don't want to...
I get what you're saying.
I don't want to give you too much because, quite frankly, you never know with these Lions.
They find a way to ruin our days.
Yeah, they've ruined a lot of Sundays for me. But that's the end of the Lions right now because I don't want to get sad.
You're already sad, dude. You look... There's a tear in your... Dude, it's... Oh, jeez. Do you want to start talking about something else?
Yeah, I do, actually.
Okay.
We're going to finish this draft talk. And then Cameron wants to talk about baseball for a little bit, but I
like baseball.
I don't want to talk about that right now.
Yeah.
But anyway, I can tell you right now my number one surprise, my number one disappointment, and then we're going to talk about the two big quarterbacks this year, who is Mitch Trubisky and Deshaun Watson. And you're going to be surprised at both where I put them.
Okay.
I mean, this disappointment's pretty obvious around here. It's been talked about in the media a lot around us. We are Michigan people. He is a Michigan guy, and I kept asking Cam the question, just thinking that he would say it. But no, I'm being honest. He will be the biggest disappointment.
Okay.
Where's Jabril Peppers going? What are you going to position? Are you going to play him in? I think he's not going to get picked until the late second round or early first round. He is my disappointment.
There's way too much to question with him because he didn't play one set position. You don't know how good he can generally be at one set position, which is why I would totally stay away from him. Because we don't know. Yes, he's an athlete. Yes, he could probably learn to play one specific position, but it has yet to be proven. He's good at a couple of different positions, but who knows where he's going to go.
You don't.
One person that I would like to mention real quick that I think I'm going to be disappointed with because he's one of my guys, I don't think he's going to get drafted very early, which sucks, is one of my favorite running backs, Christian McCaffrey.
It's iffy.
He
could get drafted early. He could get drafted later. You don't really know how that's going to go. But you think he'll get later?
Yeah, I think he'll get later. Which I mean, I'm a big fan, so it's harder for me to say that. But I really don't think that he's going to get drafted high when you got Cook and Kamara. There's other really, really good options.
Right.
So that's my disappointment. But
well, it's a clear disappointment.
It is a disappointment.
We're going to go to surprises, which are happier.
Surprise!
But, I mean, it's a weird draft. So, my surprise is a little out there. Cameron, you have your surprise?
Man, No, I don't really have a surprise.
Which is what we talked about beginning. If you don't have a surprise or a disappointment, don't talk about it.
Right.
And he didn't find one, and I think his reason's good, so we'll hear him out.
Dude, my reasoning that I didn't really find much of a surprise is there's so much that can be flip-flopped, and you can one player can have one ability that can help another team, and it'll push back somebody else. But, oh, wait, what about this guy who has this talent? There's just so much good talent in this draft. It's hard to be surprised at where people are going to go. I think the whole draft is going to be a surprise, really. We have no idea where anyone's going to go.
No, and that's correct. But I actually had a surprise, so.
All right. Surprise me.
Well, you talked about running backs, and you brought up Dalvin Cook, and I found this perfect place for Dalvin Cook to go.
Perfect.
I'm going to try to be like one of those HGTV people right now who can kind of sell the house to him. All right, Dalvin, I'm going to be your real estate agent right now. Now, I know you're looking at nicer places or more beautiful interiors and a nicer backyard.
I mean, I'm going to be getting paid soon, so.
Yeah, okay. So here's what I want you to do, Dalvin. Think about it. You don't want to be a top 10 pick. You want to be a number 13 pick.
Oh.
You want to go where there's a veteran, experienced quarterback who used to play for USC and has been an all-star in this league, who can throw a lot of yards and has been able to do play action a lot.
Okay.
So he's got like a really nice kitchen, I'll say. You know, the marble countertops are nice.
He's a good cook.
He's a great cook. You have a veteran wide receiver who's known as one of the best, who can just break out and do long runs, who, if you're not having a good game, you can be distracted by this guy. And then you have a very great defense with amazing secondary players. Can you guess what team I'm talking about right now?
You said the 13 spot?
Yeah.
Is it somewhere on the West Coast?
It is.
Oof.
And he's got a very nice area. It's not exactly California, but it's close enough, just hotter, and people complain more.
It's not exactly California.
It's not California.
Is it Arizona?
It is Arizona.
Yeah.
Yay!
Woo!
Yes, it's the Arizona Cardinals. I would love to see Dalvin Cook play for the Cardinals because you could have David Johnson.
I think that would be a good fit.
On the same team as Dalvin Cook with Fitzgerald and with Carson Palmer. And more importantly, I see this happening because Arizona needs to compete with Seattle.
They do. That's their biggest competitor right now, Seattle.
Yes, so you get Dalvin Cook. I think that's the big surprise because he's going to go there early, and he's going to help that team out a lot.
Yep.
You didn't have a surprise. My surprise was Dalvin Cook. Our disappointments was Peppers and Christian McCaffrey. We're going to go to quarterbacks real quick. I took over this one.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be right.
Okay. Whoa. I don't even know what his opinion is yet, so we'll see where he's going with this.
Well, I always think I'm going to be right until I'm wrong.
All right, Big Blue Nation, let's talk.
The two quarterbacks, Deshaun Watson and Mitch Trubisky. I can tell you exactly where they're going. No problem.
Please tell me this. Oh, you said that so nice.
What?
That was so smooth. Oof.
What?
No problem.
No problem.
No problem.
Anyway, we're going to start with Watson because he's going to get picked before Trubisky. He's going to get picked second to the San Francisco 49ers. They're looking at Deshaun Watson and going, it's just like Colin Kaepernick, but he won't take a knee at the wrong time. Perfect. Also, he can actually hit passes.
Wait, but Colin Kaepernick was voted one of the top 100 most influential people at the Time magazine.
You're ruining my segment. Deshaun Watson is a fast, running, passing quarterback. I say he's a lot like Colin Kaepernick because they're just similar a little bit. He's not a lot like Colin Kaepernick. I can see this guy being a successful running quarterback in the league. I can see this guy passing it to important people. Get Deshaun Watson on your team. In 3 to 4 years, San Francisco will be one of those teams to compete with Arizona and Seattle once they have Deshaun Watson. I see him going this early. A lot of people don't see quarterbacks getting drafted that early. They keep on saying it's a defensive draft. But more importantly, they're wrong because he will get picked that early. There are plenty of teams who need a quarterback. For example, you have the San Francisco 49ers. You have the San Francisco 49ers. Oh, and third, you have the San Francisco 49ers, okay? They tried 2 different quarterbacks last year, and both of them looked just as terrible as the one beforehand. It was like that fun game you play where it's, hey, follow me up and do something better. They were just like, hey, I'll follow you up and do something worse. That's what it looked like. So they need an amazing quarterback. Deshaun Watson will be that quarterback. Mitch Trubisky, this one's a little bit out there, and I know you're going to say this is funny. Well, it's a little dysfunction up in Buffalo. I mean,
a little?
Your defensive coordinator
You just fired a family.
Your offensive coordinator left. Your head coach left. And you don't really have a quarterback. You know what's going to fix it? Getting a quarterback.
Oh, hey.
Mitch Trubisky to the Buffalo Bills. It's
that's
perfect.
Every GM's mindset who doesn't have a good team. Oh, we need a better quarterback. Let's fix the quarterback.
Are you disagreeing with me?
No, I'm not disagreeing.
I think it's going to be perfect because of these two guys that are on Buffalo. You don't have to go get them. They're not free agents. They're not in the draft. You already have them. LaShawn McCoy, Sammy Watkins. Perfect for Mitch Trubisky. Tyrod Taylor, yeah, it was nice knowing you, but you can get to the bench because this is a real NFL team now. This isn't Buffalo where we try things and hope they work, and if they don't work, we can just say, sorry, we're Buffalo. All right?
You're setting up for Mitch to be a superstar, it sounds like.
You got Sammy Watkins and LaShawn McCoy. I think it'll be perfect. You're talking about the hardest division in the National Football League. You want to know why it's the hardest? Because you have Tom Brady and the New England Felons on there, okay? It's unbelievably hard to get past the Jets. It's unbelievably hard to get past the Miami Dolphins when they're on good years. And next thing you got to worry about is Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. This could work, Cam. Send Mitch Trubisky to Buffalo. Send Deshaun Watson to San Francisco. That's where the two quarterbacks are going. No questions about it. 100% guarantee. Paxson approved.
I'm still stuck that you called New England the Felons.
Oh, it's perfect.
Oh, okay. Nope. No more. You said Felons already. We're good.
No,
we got it.
Let me finish. Let me explain that.
We got it.
No, let me explain real quick. Just give me 10 seconds.
10 seconds.
Okay, this is perfect. The NFL found out what they really want, and that is to hire people who break laws and beat up on people. Best NFL players because they have no souls.
1. Perfect timing.
I know.
That was good. I'm proud of you. We good on draft?
We are good on draft.
We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out everything that's gonna happen on Thursday. Ooh, that's gonna be good. Check it out because it'll be later.
And then that weekend we'll see if I'm right about the Lions. I do really hope the Lions pick the 4 position players I talked about: secondary, D-line, linebacker, wide receiver.
They need to. They just need to. All right. So let's talk about baseball.
Boo.
Sure, fine, whatever. Your Tigers are tied in first place with the Indians right now at 10-8.
Yeah, they've looked
Nothing
awful.
Special.
Don't do this.
Nothing special yet has happened. I got a fun stat for you, though.
Well, what's your stat?
There's something that the Tigers and the Royals have in common this season, which the Royals are in last place in the Central, by the way, with 7-11.
Go ahead.
They are both minus 14 in scoring differential.
That's amazing.
How can you be in first and last and have the same scoring differential?
That's very simple. You're not good. You're secretly a good team you're secretly a bad team and look good. You know my opinion on this. After the week I just saw where they got swept by the Rays and they lost an unbelievably terrible game. Cameron, unbelievable.
I'm not going to dispute that. Yes, they did lose an unbelievably terrible game.
You lost an unimaginably terrible game.
You found a new way to lose. That's just it happens.
I hate this team.
But the thing about the Rays that happens a lot with them actually is they just randomly go on big runs where they look amazing, but for the majority of the season, they're subpar.
Why do you want to talk about this team? Everyone's injured.
No, I don't just want to talk about the Tigers. I just want to talk about baseball in general. It's spring, fresh cut grass outside. I love that smell. You know I do. And baseball playing right now, just the sound of bats hitting the ball and just everything about baseball, dude. It just brings summer to mind. It makes me happy. I love baseball. It's my favorite sport.
You keep loving baseball while I'm trying to tell people that the Tigers aren't going to do anything this year.
That's fine, but you can enjoy baseball for other reasons.
Victor Martinez has one extra base hit in 18 games.
Yeah,
He's our designated
because he can't run. The dude doesn't need to be in the lineup. He can't. Dude.
An extra base hit is a home run. So hit it out of the park.
He just needs to not be in the lineup anymore.
That's what we're going to do. Who are we going to put in the lineup? Your cousin? Like, what? Everyone's injured.
I don't even have
on the
cousin
DL.
That's playing baseball.
Martinez is on the DL. Jose Iglesias is on the DL. Next thing we need is Justin Verlander to play center field. That's probably what this joke of a manager would do, since he just puts people in random places. Hey, Alex Avila, you ever play first base? Great. You're going to go play first base because, hey, I don't care. Hey, Jared Salsamakia, you ever played first base? No, it's not that hard. Oh, that's right, it is, because they kept making errors at first base.
Dude, every position has
Andrew
difficult set.
You ever started a baseball game at pitching? Because I want to give Verlander a break. Hey, why don't you go start? This guy's such a joke. I hate this guy. I hate baseball right now.
There are other reasons to watch baseball, though. There are other reasons
if you want to talk about baseball, then we're going to talk about baseball.
Yes, we're talking about baseball.
We're going to talk about Brad Ausmus. We're going to talk about how the whole team's injured. We're going to talk about how this team needs to hit and
all right, I'm cutting you off. I don't just want to talk about the Tigers. I've been trying to say it. I want to talk about all baseball. Baltimore Orioles, New York, Boston, all these teams. Awesome. Dude, American League East, That's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, I know.
A lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, tell me.
Orioles are sick. They can hit bombs like no other. And then, dude, New York, the Yankees, they're going off this season. They actually really are. They're 11-7. Their record doesn't really say it. But they're plus 30 in scoring differential already.
Why do you care about that stat so much?
That's actually a good stat to look at because scoring differential can tell you.
Sport means nothing. Because I would rather have a team.
How does that mean nothing?
I would rather have a baseball team that wins by 1 or 2 runs every single night and still wins. Yeah, your Tigers have lost 8 games based on just pummeling teams who they've won. Yeah, they won by 9 on Sunday against Minnesota. That's great. And then they're going to go lose by a couple. It's the dumbest stat in the world.
Really? It is?
Yeah, it is.
Because a team that's 11-7 has plus 30, that means they are pummeling teams, and when they're losing, they're only losing close games.
Who cares? You're still losing.
That's a fun stat to see. It's
Who cares?
A good
You're still
stat
losing.
Because that is saying that this team has the power to be able to go and crush teams, and when they don't crush teams, it's a close-ass game. That's what it says. That's what that stat brings. That's why it is a good stat to look at for teams.
Dumb stat.
Whatever. You think it's a dumb stat, I think it's a good stat. And one guy that I want to talk about that you love, you like this guy a lot. And I'm starting to like him too. He doesn't really have the bat that most people who win the MVP do. You think this guy's going to win the MVP for the AL. Jose Altuve.
Yes. That's what I've been trying to tell people.
This is a guy who gets on base all the time. And I was looking at his stats, and he has no home runs right now.
Nah.
But
nah.
It's okay. When I looked at it, it was a couple days ago. He didn't have a home run yet. He has 2 now? Okay. I looked at it like 4 days ago. So
let me do this for you.
It changes all the time.
I have his stats in front of me. He has 24 hits, 2 home runs, 11 runs, 7 RBIs, 7 stolen bases. He has a batting average of .324. This guy is unbelievable. And I'd like to mention Houston's up by 3 games in first place in the AL West.
They are.
They are 13-6. The next closest team is Oakland. Texas hasn't looked as great as usual.
No.
Los Angeles is doing what Los Angeles does.
Yep.
And Seattle, it's just raining all the time up there. So they won't have anyone to worry about if they keep winning games. I think Houston's a good team to look at.
They are a good team to look at, and I wholeheartedly believe that they are going to win the West when it comes to it. I mean, they have really nobody else unless Texas turns around and starts playing good, but that's about it for that division, really. National League East. Let's talk about the East actually first. Washington Nationals. Bryce Harper. Harper's having a good season so far.
Somebody said that.
Yeah, I know. You did. He's having an awesome season, though. I think this is like MVP caliber if he can keep this up.
I do think he will have an MVP season.
I do think so, too. Bryce is he's one of those players that turns it on when he feels like turning it on, and, man, does he feel like having it on right now. So, this guy, don't giggle. That's not funny.
I'm sorry.
It's not funny.
The way you said that was unbelievable.
That's good. That's good. That's awesome. There's one thing that I do want to highlight, though. For the beginning of the season, it has not looked all too great for the Giants. They're 6-13 right now. And you want to know who the leader of the West is right now in that?
That's exactly. You're pretty good at reading my mind. I was going to get on that real quick.
The Rockies?
We're talking about teams to look at. I'm looking at the Colorado Rockies right now as a team to look at.
13-6. That's pretty good so far.
But you know what's winning them games?
What's winning them games? Yeah, their pitching has been
They've had unbelievable pitching right now. Colorado is a team to look at and a team that could get by in this West Division, which is shocking. LA, San Francisco, Arizona. Who are we talking about? The Rockies?
Yeah, exactly. The Rockies of all teams out of this division.
We want to talk about it. I mean, San Francisco's looking bad. Colorado's looking good. Did you realize what happened this past weekend from April 21st to April 23rd?
What happened?
Let me just take a guess.
There's this thing called
No.
What?
Just say it.
What do you want me to say?
Oh, you're bad at guessing.
No,
Colorado
I know what it
swept
is.
San Francisco.
Yeah. Around that time?
Yeah.
Rocky High.
Yeah.
All right. Oh.
I want to give a sort of kind of little spiel real quick.
Spiel on.
Well,
I'm all ears.
There's something I'm not real happy about, and that is that Ken Holland is our GM out here in the Red Wings, and more importantly, I don't like it because I don't think the guy really has enough fire in his ass to do anything. This guy's, oh my God, do you hear that press conference? Okay, I don't have to do a last segment. Just end the show.
No, Ken Holland, I totally understand what you're saying with him not having a fire in his belly. He really seems like he is at a point where he doesn't actually care how the next couple seasons turn out. I hate it.
So more importantly, I'm going to demonstrate a conversation between Ken Holland and one of my favorite people in this world, and that would be John Taffer. And John Taffer is the host of Bar Rescue, which comes on Sundays at 10 o'clock on Spike TV. If you don't know, he is a bar consultant, and he goes into bars who are not doing great. And the first 10 or 15 minutes of the show, it's him looking at the bar and having his ideas of what they're doing wrong. And it's basically just like a yell fest for a little bit. But more importantly, I'm going to be Sports John Taffer for the next couple weeks. And at the end of the show, I'm going to give my opinion to some of these guys. So Cameron will play the part of Ken Holland real quick. Can you do that for me, buddy?
Dude, I've been waiting for you to randomly spring this on me, and I think now is the perfect time.
Perfect. All right. Mr. Holland, I've been looking at your bar for a couple weeks now, and I must say that I'm disappointed. I mean, real quickly, why do you think it's okay to just bring in older players who can't play anymore? I mean, Stevie, yeah, that was a good pickup. He did absolutely nothing. So players like that, these older players who you think are just unbelievably amazing, like, tell me how that goes.
Well, I mean,
tell me what it's like to keep failing an organization, to just ruin a playoff streak for 25 years. Tell me what that's like. Tell me what it's like to ruin the whole city, the city that won 4 Stanley Cups in 15 years, the city that's made Hockey Town. Tell me what it's like to lose an amazing coach because you didn't really want him anymore and just think, oh, the minor league coach is going to be better as the professional coach because he knew these players once in a time. Yeah, so did my Uncle Vinny. My Uncle Vinny knew a couple of these players, but is my Uncle Vinny the coach? No, my Uncle Vinny's not the coach, you idiots. So why would you think it's better to raise a minor coach into the professional? Tell me that idea, huh? Tell me that idea, Ken.
Well,
how do you think Blash was doing?
It was something that we had to experiment with, and it hasn't really been going to plan. There's a lot of things that fall into place. We have a young group of kids who I think needed the veteran leadership of just a couple great players.
Where are those players now? One's in Russia, and the other aren't here because they've retired because they already did so much. So you have Henrik Zetterberg. Who's your other old-time player? Oh, that's right. Why don't you go grab another person who can barely skate on the ice anymore to play hockey? That's a great idea. If you were the GM at my bar, it would never happen. I would shut this bar down. It would never happen. Jeff Blashill is your head coach. Are you kidding me? Are you out of your mind? Jeff Blashill is the head coach? This minor league guy who won a couple games in the minor leagues. That's great. Yeah, we're just going to call up the AAA Toledo Mud Hens guy to be the manager next year. I mean, he's going to do just as great a job as Brad Ausmus. Yeah, Detroit's looking great sports-wise. Thank you for that. Thank you for ruining Detroit sports, Ken Holland. This was the only team we had leverage in because the Lions suck. The Tigers can't do anything. Oh, that's right. The Pistons can't do anything because they have a terrible GM as well. Look what you've done, Ken. You've done this to everyone else's bar in Detroit, and you've done this to Detroit City Sports. I can't stand to look at you right now. What I want you to do is 3 things. 1, go home, look in the mirror, and say, wow, I'm a bad GM. Once you realize you're a bad GM, you can actually start doing good things, Ken. Number 2, draft some people who actually matter. Not some hometown favorites who are supposed to be amazing. By the way, Dylan Larkin, yeah, he looks like a drama queen out there on the ice. He looks like he can get his ass kicked by a television remote, okay? This guy isn't looking great. Go get some better people, Ken. And number 3, I want you to stop being the Wings GM. After I just told you to do better things to be the Wings GM, I just changed my mind. You're going to stop being the Wings GM. There's going to be a new owner to this bar, okay? Because Illich died, and I think his son, Chris, isn't going to be as nice as his father, Mike. He's going to be like, yeah, you're out of here. Mike was like, oh, no, he helped us do a lot. This was amazing. Chris is going to be like, hey, I'm going to shut you down, and I'm going to go put you in the trash can, Grover, because this is just awful, okay? Awful. You understand me? Awful. Shut this bar down.
You just called him Grover. Oh, that was my favorite Sesame Street character. That's all the time we got this week. Thank you everybody for listening. This is Cameron Gwinn, who's been talking at you for a little bit. James Paxton. This is Cam Jam Experience. Thank you, everybody. Next week, we will be talking about what happened in the NFL draft.
We're walking, yeah, we're walking. We're walking to school. We're walking to school. Yeah, we're walking to school.